Greetings, Goddess Body Mind Spirit community. This is Tyra Omelade, your goddess guru. And I'm here today to do just a look at Rosa Parks' astrology. The other day on her birthday, I was just like, of course, because I see so much in astrological terms now. I was like, of course, Rosa Parks was an activist. I just like doing these kinds of reads on people's charts. It's just interesting to look at our ancestors to see what their astrology looked like to help explain why did they do some of what they did. Yeah, and I've always admired Rosa Parks. The more I learn about her, the more it's just amazing how much misinformation we got as children, and how I remember when I first realized there would be no civil rights movement. Not first realized, but I can't remember what the story was that made me like, dang. First there was Rosa Parks, then there was MLK. That's what I'm trying to say. I was like, look at the divine feminine showing up, turn up, turn up. So hey, hey Eileen. How are you? Let's look at Rosa Parks' chart. Um, so of course we know her sun is in Aquarius. We don't have an accurate time of birth. At least what I looked at, there was no accurate time of birth. And I looked to see, was there anything that really stood out to me about her life? Yes, you are, Eileen. That's a very good point. As a matter of fact, I'm getting ready to go through some stuff. I'm gonna break this down. So this chart right here is it's without a birth time, first and foremost. So Aries is going to be the first sign. But yeah, I was looking, I was like, I really don't know a lot about her personal life. I've never studied Rosa Parks like that. Because I was wondering about this moon. I wanted to know, is the moon actually in Capricorn or is it in Aquarius? Um, and the reason I say that is because the moon is at 29 degrees of Capricorn, which means it's right about to go into Aquarius. So probably the moon was in two signs that day, started out in Capricorn and then eventually switched into Aquarius. So just kind of depending on um what time of day she was born determines that moon. Make no mistake about it, Capricorn and Aquarius, they're both ruled by Saturn when we're using the ancient rulership, which is what I use. They're both ruled by Saturn. So she had something about her internal world that was very tough and strong. And she probably wasn't very huggy, touchy feely, even though she has this nice little, not little, but she has this gentle affect about her. Um, just this really beautiful look. I wouldn't be surprised if she was like a Libra or a Taurus. Like she has a very pretty look about her. Um, and so yeah, she was tough. She was very, very tough. And I looked at some of the awards that she got. It sort of made me wonder about that moon being in Capricorn. Let me see here. She got several awards. I don't know if this is the one I was looking at, where she laid in state, which is not something that is, where was it? When she died in 2005, she was honored by having her casket laying in state in the US Capitol Rotunda. I was like, wow. She was one of only 31 people to receive this honor and the first woman. So, where's her chart? So I'm like, wow, that is very Aquarius. That is very Aquarius. But even if not knowing exactly where is her moon, um, yes. Um, I'll tell you about that too, Eileen. And it sort of depends on like what her rising sign is. But she has Uranus in Aquarius, which is one of the planets associated with Aquarius, which would help to amplify her Aquarian nature. Like she was very Aquarius. The only thing she was born to do was what she did. She was going to be on those front lines. She would be the one to say, I'm tired of it. I'm not backing down. Let's do this, you know. Aquarius is the consummate rebel, the consummate rebel. And the fighting for justice and equality for all. This is Aquarius. So her son is there. She also has Mercury there, which means that she was like this was on her mind all the time. And the other thing that I'll say is I'll never forget when I found out is it called a finishing school? I know some of y'all are gonna know this when I talk about it, but it's crazy to me that a lot of people who were taught how to do resistance work went to a school here in Tennessee. I have to look it up, but Rosa Parks is one of those people. She was trained in resistance, and I hate that I can't remember the name of the school, but it's here in Tennessee. And that Mercury, like she was very learned in this. She was a student of resistance, which is why we know this wasn't like some random thing that happened. And when we even hear the story of like the what unfolded that evening, like this thing was very much organized, and it was something that happened that sort of popped it off, that stemmed from work that was already being done by women in the community. So yeah, Rosa in the speaking, talking, and that's Mercury. She probably was a little bit obsessed with civil rights and justice and equality for all, just because she has these two planets that Mercury is actually, one of my teachers says it's considered to be exalted in Aquarius. It does very well in Aquarius. So, this really speaks to Rosa Parks. Another thing that I found interesting about her is she has Mars in Capricorn. What's so interesting about that is Mars is in Capricorn right now as we speak. The day I decide to look at her chart, Mars is in Capricorn as we freaking speak. Wow. Um, so Mars is exalted in Capricorn, and exalted means that it does better than good. It is the best in Aquarius. And so I bet she was someone who could work endlessly, endlessly. And so Mars in Capricorn is like you will be successful. You will not be denied. And that's why I sort of wonder, does she have that moon in Capricorn? Because look at how prestigious, like Capricorn is the pinnacle of success. And so for her to be laying in state, the first woman to lay in state when she passed, wow, amazing. Let's look and see if we see anything else that would be an indication. And I didn't even pull up like the best websites. So one thing that I will say is she was married to somebody who was also an activist, and I can see how that is possible. So the sun sometimes represents who you'll be married to. Mars might give you some indication. And so it sounded like her husband was, well, not sounded like, it is stated her husband was actually very much into the he was doing the same kind of work as Rosa Parks. Oh, look at this. Let's see here. Uh, After gaining fame from bravery on the bus, Rosa Parks spent the rest of her life dedicated to fight against discrimination, speaking engagements. See, I told you that Mercury in Aquarius, she was gonna be talking about talk, fighting for justice here in the United States, fighting against discrimination. And she published an autobiography. So I can imagine she would do that. I've heard Mars can indicate the men you're attracted to. Yes, it Mars can definitely tell you quite a bit about the kind of energy that you want in a man. Yes. The bus, let's see here. So many honors. So this is that Capricorn energy, high achievement, um, and just high success. Like whenever I see somebody who has Mars in Capricorn, one of my astrology teachers said that person will be successful, and it's what I do find to be true. First African American woman honored with a statue in the United States Capitol, National Statutory Hall. Like this woman, that she was born to do this work. And the other thing that I find interesting, her Venus is in Aries. And so Venus in Aries would make her have a bit of a fiery presentation as a woman. A lot of times women who have Venus in Aries, um, they are like natural born warriors. They may present as very feminine, but they have a warrior energy to their nature. It's not the best placement for Venus, to be honest with you. But yeah, I have 1 degree Venus in Aries, and oh, I don't know if this North Node, it probably is correct. I get confused, but she has this North Node conjunct her Venus, which another thing too that I'll say is Aries is about fighting, warrior. And so her Venus is there, her node, the North Node is there, and the North Node of the moon is about purpose and where you're going in life. And so she was here to go all the way to the top in the work that she was going to do. And my didn't she do that? Um, and the other thing that I'll say is I find it interesting that I don't see anything about her having children. And that sort of makes me wonder, is her moon in Aquarius? Um, yeah, is her moon in Aquarius? I will say one thing about her is, which would sort of speak to the moon being in Capricorn. And the somebody put a birth time of, which one was it? On here, she has a birth time of 5:12 a.m. and they say the birth time accuracy is poor. So they have her ascendant at Capricorn, which I can believe she is a Capricorn rising, because one of the things I was going to say is she had longevity. Capricorn brings longevity to people. So she had, you know, and Mars there too. Woo, woo, woo. Mine is, wait, for Gemini. There we go. Eileen. Okay, so I want to go back to Eileen's point of Rosa Parks having so many planets concentrated in one area. So that is significant. And let's say we're just going to imagine that Rosa Parks is a Capricorn rising. And so we see all of her planets are here. If we were to draw a line from the top of the chart all the way down through the bottom of the chart, and now the chart is divided on the left side and the right side. Most of her planets are on the left side, especially her personal planets. Yeah, all the personal planets are to the left. And so that tells you that this person is somebody who is a go-getter. They get up, they go after what they want, and they can operate on their own. They don't really need partnership with anybody. And so that's what we could see with Rosa Parks. And on the right side, having so few, it would mean, let's say the planets were on the right side, that would mean that that person is that person is they will do best working in partnership. They will do best working in partnership with other people. And so sometimes when I see people who have a lot of planets on the right-hand side, I tell them, "Look, when you have a lot of planets on the right, you have to accept that even if you're sort of like the lead in the relationship, Being in relationship is very good for your success. These are certain this is why I love getting readings and doing readings for people so that you can understand like what how does my energy best work? And something as simple as do you have a lot of planets in one place? And are they on the left or are they on the right? Another thing is if somebody has a lot of planets at the bottom of the chart versus at the top of the chart, then the people who have planets at the bottom of the chart, especially, okay, let me just stop there. If they have a lot of planets at the bottom of the chart, they may feel like they blossom late in life. That has come as a lot of comfort for me because I feel like in terms of career, I'm blossoming later in life. And then people who have a lot of planets at the top of their chart, you will see that they will have a career earlier in life. They'll feel like, things took off for them more early in life. And a lot of times, especially if it's a planet like the sun, Jupiter, uh, mm, maybe even Mars. I don't know about Mars, but especially the sun. If you have the sun above the horizon and you have a lot of other planets up there, this person, whether they want to or not, they will stand out. And I've noticed that a lot of times. And, I see people, they have a lot of planets at the top. They may not necessarily be extroverted, but they will always be seen. They'll always be out front. People will always notice them. And so sometimes knowing these kinds of things about yourself will help you to accept, oh, this is why I am the way that I am. And I can assure you, again, I am not even coming close to saying I have studied Rosa Parks a whole lot. But what I will tell you is this was an intense woman and she was not going to be stopped. And I can see why Rosa Parks is the one because we know she wasn't the first one to do this, but I can see why she stood out. Her astrology allowed her to stand out. And no telling what kind of transit was happening. But the thing about Aquarius energy is Aquarius is the kind of energy where the person will be like, it'll seem like nothing is working in their favor. And then all of a sudden they will catapult to the top. No wonder Kanye was so messy June '08. What happened? Is Kanye an Aquarius? What is he? Or what is that about? Because I can't remember. It's been so long, Eileen. Okay, so she has Jupiter in Capricorn, not the best placement for Capricorn. I do think that another thing about this Capricorn energy is success later in life for even Rosa Parks. Yeah, she kicked off the civil rights movement in a huge way. However, it wasn't until she was older that she was more respected and, you know, all the things that transpired that we just talked about. Sorry, it was on the side of your page. Oh, okay. Okay. Wait a minute. Oh, got you. Okay. Oh, what is he, Eileen? He's a Gemini. Wow. I didn't no wonder Kanye is always running his mouth. No disrespect to Geminis, but this explains so freaking much. Let's look at Janet Jackson, Eileen. Okay, shut the freaking front door. Janet Jackson is a Scorpio? I know I said I was talking about Rosa Parks, but we've seen Janet Jackson quite a bit coming out in the media. I did not know Janet Jackson is a Scorpio. And it looks like she has Pluto and Uranus conjunct in Virgo. Shut the freaking front door. And her MC is in Leo. Her MC, the MC is the what do you call it? The career point. And so MC and Leo, no question, this woman is gonna be standing out. She's gonna be at the front stage. A lot of times, Scorpios, they will be at the front stage of a thing because they have Leo, and Leo is about standing out in the crowd, being able to just be. that one person. Um, others may follow your leadership, but where is her sun? Because the ruler of Leo is in Taurus, and that will tell me what kind of career she will have. Just by the virtue of MC and Leo, this is somebody who will more than likely be highly creative no matter what they do. There will be this wellspring of inspiration and creativity, right? That's Janet Jackson. And you think about the sun is like the biggest star. So we think about the stars, and fashion also is something else with Leos. Turn up, Eileen, and all the other Leos out there. Um, so her son is in Taurus. Of course, Janet Jackson is an entertainer. Taurus is about the voice. So of course she's a singer. And man, me and Janet Jackson, we sort of got some of the same placements. Because my Venus is in Aries and my Mars is in Taurus. That's similar. I'm a Scorpio rising. My sun is in Taurus. My moon is in Taurus. Her sun is in Taurus. So look at Janet Jackson. And then where is her? Her north node is at 25 degrees of Taurus. Wow. Conjunct her sun. There was no question Janet Jackson was going to be very successful with this combination. And this Scorpio, I'm sure she had a rough life. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't do well with keeping up. Let me not say I'm sorry. I like looking at people's charts. However, that doesn't mean I know a lot about people. I just study astrology and spirituality and stuff like that. I'm not super big in the pop culture. So it'd be interesting to hear what people have to say. But this North Node, which is again a destiny point, it's like this is what you were born to do. You will be catapulted in this direction. Conjunct her sun, this means that this woman's career will be at the forefront of her life. Um, and then she has Mercury in Taurus, even though that Mercury is really close to that Mars. Mercury at 13 degrees Taurus, Mars at 21. That's not too bad. So Mercury, which is again, it has to do with communication. Maybe was she a songwriter? I don't know if she writes her own music, but definitely this woman can sing, and she's highly creative. And that moon in Aries and Venus in Aries, she's pretty tough. I would imagine Janet Jackson is not a pushover. I can imagine Janet Jackson has experienced some level of wounding, because that's a hard placement for Venus. Venus being in Aries is not the best placement, and she's a Scorpio rising. Um her ascendant is at 14 degrees Scorpio. Let's look at all her Taurus planets. So Mercury is opposite her ascendant. Mercury rules. Ooh, Janet Jackson goes deep. Eileen, let me see if you having a baby at 50. My God, that is so true. That is so true. Um, is she tough? We know she has this really high, or, soft voice or whatever. It's something about Janet Jackson that's like she does not take no crap. She will shoot straight. She will do her best to be sweet, but do not cross Janet Jackson. Virgo, Gemini, who's this over here? 11th house. Oh, that's another thing. Yeah, Janet Jackson, she was destined to really stand out, be on the front stage, connect with lots of people, because she has Pluto in Virgo. Excuse me, I'm talking about Uranus in Virgo. Um, and that Virgo house is one that has to do with being in front of big crowds. And there's just other things that I see here that, I don't want to sound too technical, because then it makes people not be able to actually hear the story that's here. But um, there's other indications of why Janet Jackson would be performing in big crowds. I can see that. And then another thing that I'll say that I think is cool is that, let me see here. I can't remember which house I was looking at. Virgo, big crowds. Oh, she has Neptune in the first house. That's why she has this dreamy look, because the first house will tell you. Oh, okay, it came back to me. The first house will tell you about how this person presents in the world. And so with her having Neptune there, there's this dreamy, energy about her. I could also see why she is in film and on TV. That's Neptune has to do with that. That's one of the planets that has to do with that. And Neptune actually is very creative and like magical, very magical. Just this is very, very much Janet Jackson. She has Chiron and Pisces. Is that Saturn and Pisces? Yeah, she has Saturn at 27 degrees Pisces, Chiron at 25 degrees Pisces. So Eileen, this is why she had children late in life, because she has I wonder if she like if it was it just her career, or was there something else there that she waited so late? I would love it if somebody would let me know if they know that part of her story. But Saturn in that 5th house, I could see how Saturn either would just maybe based on what we see in her life, how she could have just not had children, and how it was that she had children later in life. I can absolutely see that. Um, yeah, wow. And let's see here, what else? So, what I was gonna say too is this Aquarius house for Scorpios is a house that has to do with home and family. And sometimes Scorpios, they'll tell you there was something different about the way they were raised up. That it was odd. Like for me, what was odd was I traveled quite a bit as a little girl, um, because my dad was in the military. And so when I came back to um, Mississippi, me and my siblings, we were a little bit different, especially my older sibling, because my younger brother was a baby when we moved back to Mississippi. But we didn't talk like everyone from Mississippi. So we were a little bit odd. My family was Catholic. That was odd. So we all know she had a very odd upbringing. Let me see what Eileen is saying. A lot of earth and fire. Very good. Very good observation. Yes. A lot of earth. That means this woman is about making that money, having material possessions. She even talked about this was interesting. I watched just a little bit of something before her actual video came out. And she was talking about how she had all these outfits that she had preserved and she finally had to get rid of them. That is so freaking Taurus. That is so freaking Taurus. Taurus is like, I gotta hold on to everything. I might need it. But I guess our Virgo kicked in and was like, we gotta get rid of this stuff. Um, so yeah, and beautiful things. She loves beautiful things because she's a Taurus. Um, she probably loves good food also. Like she's very, very Taurus. And then, the fire, yeah, that fire. Eileen, we could also say water because she has her ascendant in Scorpio. She has 2 planets in Pisces, and she has Jupiter in Cancer. Oh my God, that Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. Let me just make sure I'm looking at this right. Yeah, wow. Wow, she lucky. Um, so Jupiter in Cancer, um and that's I am using, whole signs. So Jupiter in Cancer, I would wonder if this would make her she's very much into her family. Her family has a very like, they have helped to greatly, um, shape her paradigm in the world, what how she sees the world. She probably has traveled well, not probably, she has traveled greatly because that Jupiter in Cancer in the ninth house, um, that would speak to foreign travel, maybe going across the ocean since Cancer is an ocean. Um, and it also makes me wonder, like, does Janet Jackson teach people stuff? What does she teach? Is she really a good teacher of some sort? And she might be really into, like, being the voice for some cause. I did not do, any research on her because I had not planned on looking at her chart. Okay, Virgo had to clean and organize. Yes, Eileen. I noticed the water later, and I was like, "Tyra, point that out." Yes. Yes, Eileen, yes. And so, looking at her chart, let's see here. Jupiter and Cancer. Mm, yeah, now I'm curious about her. I don't really wanna watch the show or the video that came out recently, even though I heard people raving about it. I might just look up a little bit to see what does she, really teach. Let's see here. Known for a series of, let's see, socially conscious and sexually provocative records, as well as elaborate stage shows, television appearances, film roles, prominent figure in pop culture after signing record contract. Let's see here. Jackson holds a record of over 30 Billboard awards. Wow. And is the only artist in history to receive Grammy nominations spanning 5 different genres. This woman is a beast. And it really, really shows. And it's interesting that I have looked at Rosa Parks' chart, and her chart is Mars in Capricorn, and Janet Jackson's chart is Mars in Taurus. When you have Mars in an earth sign, you are like the energizer bunny. You will go and go and go. Um, and that Venus and Moon in Aries, this speaks to, like, this woman, she was gonna stand out. She was gonna be at the forefront. She was gonna be an innovator. And Saturn and Pisces, not the worst position for Saturn, to be honest with you. And it could have helped her to, maybe it was, I don't know. I wonder what the influence of her dad was on her. Because Saturn sometimes can be like the dad or somebody who has a lot of like a leadership and authority type figure. But for me, when you have Saturn and Pisces, it will help to keep your Pisces from, causing all kinds of addictions. So I don't know if she had addictions, but I can imagine that she was able to kind of like keep her subconscious mind in check, with that Saturn being there. Sometimes Saturn being in Pisces of the 12th house, it's a little bit of a blessing. It helps to keep you from devolving. Um, so yeah, very, very interesting. She has a lot of opposition. So I wonder if she struggled with like trying to make people like take care of herself. She probably is a workaholic now that I think about it, and has had to force herself to um to balance career and taking care of herself or doing something that is not a part of her career. And Eileen, going back to your point earlier about Rosa Parks, when we look at Janet Jackson, the majority of her planets, all of her personal planets are on the right side. So she is an example, without us even trying to make this work. She is an example of somebody who does well in partnership. And so, yeah, I'm curious to learn more about her now. Let's see here. Is there anything? I love this quote. I'm going back to Rosa Parks. Such a good example of this Aquarius energy. People always say that I didn't give up my seat because, excuse me, yes, that because I was tired, but isn't true. I was not physically tired, or no more tired than usual. I usually was at the end of the working day. I was not old, although some people have an image of me being old. Then I was 42. No, the only tired I was tired of giving in. And I'm not gonna lie, 42, that's that's Saturn, that's Capricorn. This woman has a lot of Capricorn energy, success later in life. So, yeah, even her sparking off the bus boycott, 42 is young. Don't get me wrong, y'all, but in astrological years, that's an age of more maturity, which makes so much more sense why she was able to hold this energy and she just had a lot of maturity about her. And that's Capricorn. So, wow, yes, 42. 42, perfect age to say no more. That's yeah, wow, very fascinating. Let's see here. They uh yeah, they worked to end equality where they moved. And she did suffer from financial and health troubles as she got older. And we know that people rallied around her, thankfully, to help take care of her. So I do sort of wonder uh, what her rising sign is. That would be fascinating to know. Wouldn't be surprised if she was Scorpio. No, she doesn't look like a Scorpio, to be honest with you. So, yeah, this was fun. Thank you so much for being here. And anyone who watches, I guess I have to update the title um, and add in Janet Jackson since we looked at her chart. But yeah, you're right. A lot of us awaken in our 40s and, really claim our power. So that is way cool. She has Chiron in um, Pisces. Huh. Interesting. I would love to know what house that's in. The house tells me more about Chiron than the sign. But, Pisces is a sign that has to do with the inner world, the inner landscape. It's a sign that could speak to prison. Yeah, too. It has to do with compassion. And maybe that's, this is how the astrology teachers, guides teach. Could be why she fell into this problem with the finances in the end. Also, because Pisces is like you could end up homeless. Sometimes you end up having to just depend on people's compassion and caring about you. Caring, being a part of a cause that would care for people who are down on their luck. So that might be speaking to why she experienced that. Yes. Chiron and Pisces. So let's just go back to her chart, Eileen. Let's just make this up. So if here we go. If it's if we were to use this particular chart, which we don't know if this is correct or not, but let's just make it up. If we were to use this chart, Chiron in Pisces in the second house. And we can use that because her sun is in Aquarius. What's the second house from Aquarius? That would be Pisces. Pisces has to do with resources and money. So she may have struggled with money some. Chiron and Pisces, this could be speaking as to why she experienced some challenges later in life with money. Um, and her Jupiter is in Capricorn. Jupiter is this expansive sign, and um, yeah, Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. This is why I'm talking about Jupiter. Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, and her Jupiter was not necessarily like in a position to give her a lot. Like I can imagine Rosa Parks could have been somebody who was a little bit like of a saver and like deals and stuff like that. Um and Chiron has to do with wounding. And if we're looking at Pisces as her, no, I'm sorry, Eileen, let me go back. From Capricorn, from her sun sign, it's the second house. From her, if we were to use Capricorn rising, it's her third house. It would be her third house from Capricorn, which is a complete possibility. a complete possibility. And that would speak to maybe something about um, wounding with siblings or wounding that comes from the local community. So, it could have something to do with trauma. If we just look at it from her sun sign, then it would speak to the money. Um, and and also that Chiron being there with Pisces, this might would be why the community eventually stepped in to help her when she, started getting in was about to lose her home. Because that third house is going to be speaking to community. But her Jupiter just doesn't, it's not going to be giving easily to her. That's a Jupiter that's it's not the best place for Jupiter, but so I guess I could see why she sort of had some issues and challenges with money. Should have never happened. Makes my heart break when I first found out about it. Okay, money house second. Yep. Taurus. Yes. Values. House of values. Yes, that is exactly correct, Eileen. Trauma and community during those days. Yes, I agree, Eileen. Wow. And her Venus in Aries, it's not the best placement. Not the best placement. Wait a minute. And didn't Janet Jackson have Venus in Aries? Wow. I'm not even trying. Maybe that's why she's there because she has similar placements to Rosa Parks. Um, but yeah. But it'll make you tough. It'll make you very tough and uh but yeah, relationships may not all the time be the best. But it'll make you an advocate and it'll make you a little bit racy and like you'll be an advocate of some sort. You'll be especially for women, you'll be at the forefront of um women's rights or uh just topics that have to do with women in Aries. That's how they will roll. They will always sort of be like um oh, it brings a lot of creativity too. I'm not gonna lie. Venus and Aries, it will bring a lot of creativity, but it also brings body image issues, sometimes wounding and stuff like that too. But a lot of times women with Venus and Aries, they will be the ones that will be the first one to speak out, like, this ain't right. Oh, good. I'm glad you feel that way. I'm glad you feel that way. So I'm just gonna go one more time back over here. You can look at someone's chart from any planet, to be honest with you. So Rosa Parks, her sun is in Aquarius. So we could always look at her from Aquarius at being the first house. We don't really know what's going on with this moon, so I wouldn't do that. So the other one we could do is look at her as look from her Venus. That might would tell us a little bit about her also. Um And that's another thing, her Venus, if we were to go from Venus and Aries down to Taurus, she has um yeah, the ruler of that second house that has to do with money is in a house where it just Venus and Aries, it doesn't feel good. Because she's about partnership and let's get along and Aries is like I'm just going to act as soon as I feel it, I'm going to act, I'm going to go after it and I'm sort of a loner. So people like that. And it's weird to me looking at their charts because I have similar placements and I wasn't even trying for this. But I have Venus at 1 degree actually in Aries. And I also have Saturn in Taurus. So that's fascinating. So yeah, you can look at it from somebody's and you just consider it that way. But it's like, what does she value? She values I mean, Aries at the end of the day is a warrior. She valued being a warrior. She was gonna be that warrior, and she was gonna be a different kind of warrior too because of this North Node being there. But she was not gonna be stopped, and, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go on ahead and get off of here. I feel like I've just rambled on enough, but yeah, I just wanted to come on and talk a little bit about Rosa Parks. Uh, just because it's like once you start seeing people's birthdays and you know astrology, you're like, it just all adds up. So why was Rosa Parks the way that she was? Well, there you go. Some of the story is told in this chart as we see it right here. Yes, Eileen, I found my tribe with it. It explains why I like both of these ladies. I've always been a little bit fascinated with them or whatever. So we have been together all day. We are hanging out, the dream team. Okay, thank y'all so much. Oh, is it your mom's birthday today? That's right, Aquarius. Tell the Queen Mother I said happy birthday from Tyra. February the 5th. It's a good day. It's a very good day. All right, everybody. Thank y'all so much. And I will see you all in the next video. And Eileen, all right, girl. I think I'm going to head to bed pretty soon, but it's been a full day that we've been together. All right. Thank you all so much. Take care. Peace and love.